Hello, my name is Acidical Portal, aka Connor, and today I'd like to talk about a topic that's been on my mind. Now, there's a lot of reasons I think people should be concerned about technology. Let's just say technology in general. Now, the reason for this concern is because we've gone in a very far direction, right? Especially with the AI stuff. Now, the AI, no, this is nothing in comparison, right? Open AI and all that. It's doing its thing, and I mean I use ChatGPT daily, so I'm pretty tech enthusiastic myself. Now, I saw an article, actually I saw quite a few articles of these tech bros or tech giants such as Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, and some other people suggesting we should drop smartphones and we should go into brain chips and Neuralink. And I call bullshit on that. Well, partly because it's obvious. I mean, you're getting into your brain at that point. See, the thing is about your brain is the soul, right? Everything you do, everything that functions, what you see, what you feel, what you taste, all your senses, everything. It's all up here. Everything you do, your bodily functions and all that cannot exist without your brain, literally. So at that point, I would call that pretty damn Orwellian because if your thoughts are given advertisements, if they can be recommended things, then what is autonomy anymore? First of all, I mean I think most people are pretty overwhelmed with technology as it is, and all of these algorithms and all that just draining our dopamine. I worry about a future where this shit becomes normalized and we don't have any sort of concern at all towards the sort of implications of what's really happening here. See, your mind is the most private and intimate thing about you. What you feel, what you think, everything. Your memories, what you even call reality, is all up here. Your perception of the world. It's all it's all up in the brain because, well, where else would it be, right? You have to make those distinctions of technology of what is possible and what should be done. Because there's a point when I think freedom over anything is what truly makes us evolve. If we don't have freedom, then innovation stops. You limit freedom to those who want to control people. These people, like these tech people, they think they're God. Like they think that they own us, and that everything we do is about them. See, it's the part of why I quit watching porn. That was something I did for a long time, and it ruined a lot of aspects of my life. And now that quitting it, uh, I feel better. And we could go into that. That's a different subject, but it's like, see, people. I think I saw some studies that like the majority of people, I think it was like 80% of Americans, 60% of Europeans, for unless it was like strict medical reasons for uh, monitoring your health, uh, or enhancing your body in some way, your biological functions, maybe controlling your receptors and how they do things. Say if you're unmotivated and it channels the proteins in a better way or something like that. Other than those things, most people they said, "Nah, shit, we ain't buying this. Like, we ain't doing this stuff." And so I'm glad I'm not in the minority of that thinking. But hold on, 80% and 60%, this should be 99%. 99% of people should not be okay with this. I mean, Think about it. What if it became mandatory, huh? Like, listen, I don't want you to worry and I don't want people to be scared about things, right? Worrying doesn't do anything, I don't think. It just makes us stressed out. It doesn't make us function, and it doesn't really make us prioritize our lives. And I experience that because I get anxiety. But see, the thing is about technology and what I was saying just before this is what happens when you get to a point if it somehow theoretically became mandatory. Like you can't get a job without it, you can't go to work without it, you can't even get in your own home without it. You can't pay bills, you can't do money or anything. Uh, what if it controls people's thoughts and for the best of them, certain things are erased or something like that? What if it affects your family, your relationships, your children, your parents, your partners, like they all are in that stuff. Like what would you do at that point if you refused? Would you become like a target in some way? Would you just people not even perceive you? Like what would that look like in a say a distant hypothetical scenario, right? This is not a joke, man. Like they push for this stuff, right? But you got to remember that these people are not everyday people. They're not the majority, but they're also not your friend. They're liars. They don't care about you. Why do you think Mark Zuckerberg has a little tape over his computer, right? Because they know about privacy. They know how that stuff works. Do you think they would do that stuff themselves and have the chips themselves? Probably not. I mean, maybe they might have some enhanced form, but also other concerns too. What if it got hacked or something? Or, uh, you know, you can't even think about certain things because those memories are blocked, or it gets rid of certain neurons or something. What if it just you become a different person? Yada yada yada. I know it's a little overwhelming to imagine these ideas, but it's something. See, the reason why I'm making this video is because I think people need to be informed about things. People need to question things. Now, I've been starting to get a little bit more serious on my channel. Um, I mean, I do enjoy what I do, and I apologize for not making videos, by the way. It has been a long one, a hot minute, as they say. But, I think about a lot of things because I'm at my house a lot, and, you know, I don't have a job currently because I'm out of college and I'm doing the semester, and like, man, I mean, we're already influenced. Think about that for a sec. Our opinions, people's entire beliefs are shaped completely off the internet and people who promote so many different things. I mean, the majority of people you meet are going to believe in like, mainstream stuff, but anything can be mainstream, right? If they wanted to influence people through mental algorithms, then what would that look like? Would everyone just believe in the same thing and nobody would even question it? Because you literally couldn't question it, hypothetically. Okay, that should terrify people. And that was very disturbing for me to see those types of articles, right? Now, there's going to be some people that say, "Oh, well, no, you're just being hyperbole. You're overreacting. You're thinking too much into it." Ironically, well, okay, sure, and I guess maybe in a sense, unless of overthinking about it, which sometimes I do, but not often. I usually keep stuff that doesn't matter in my brain, which this says a lot then. But okay, So are you gonna just let this stuff happen and not question it? Don't you think there should be ethical guidelines of what's acceptable and what's accessible inside of the human condition? Um, and what people can do or how it can be used ultimately. Wouldn't that be something that people should do? Seriously. Because, man, I was thinking about the time I got my wisdom teeth removed and how my body was. I was I was getting anesthesia and felt like everything was just beyond my control. You know, I couldn't walk. I couldn't feel much. I was just wobbling around saying a bunch of dumb shit and I wasn't even aware, and like at a certain point I wasn't feeling like anything, and then I just like, whoa, wait, that happened? Like you fall asleep and then it's like you're already awake when it happened to me. And it made me realize in that moment, like, man, the mind, you know, they inject a syringe into you and you fall asleep and you can't control it. It's such a fragile thing. We think we're in control, but we have some level of control and extent in which we can make decisions. Now we could get into free will and all of that stuff, but the point of this video is about neural links and chips and what we even consider acceptable on this. Uh, I think the last thing I should tell you is you should not trust these people. They already collect so much of your data and they all talk about like they don't and they're just using it for advertisements and all that. But call bullshit on that, man. They've already proven to be corrupt and influence people en masse. I mean, ever since the pandemic for me, things have gotten. That was actually when I started my YouTube channel. Was during the pandemic. So I'm like, man, there's not much to do, and I need something on my channel I can talk about and express. And back then it was just tutorials, but it's evolved so much since then. I've seen the world change so much. I mean, we've had so many things happen. It feels completely different back then. It feels actually arguably even worse. Like the way in which we see the world, it's so for me, I got spiritual and stuff because I wouldn't call myself religious in the traditional sense, but I needed something to look beyond because the modern lens, it's so detached and nihilistic, and people just want to escape themselves. They want to drink away their problems. They want to escape their bodies. They want to do weed all the time. They want to watch porn. People just don't want to think about their thoughts. Why? Because it's painful. And I see the same with the Neuralink stuff. Like you could say that people just they don't want to think about things, and they become a resort for them, and then that becomes promoted, and then people think it's this normal thing, and it's not normal. Okay, don't trust your gut feeling. Don't let people tell you that this shit is the future, because it's not. This is a dystopian idea of what the future could be, and talk to people about, talk to politicians. Like phone them up and stuff, because like this is not big stuff right now. And I don't really think most people, like the average person, really think about this kind of stuff on a daily basis, right? We just have our smartphones in our pocket, and you know, we don't even know what it's doing. That's the thing. Like what, it's like how is it collecting our data? That's the thing. Um Now, there's a bunch of things that we don't know, obviously, but they don't want you to know those things. And man, once I got rid of all my addictions and shit, and I started like figuring out myself, like a lot of those emotions were hard to deal with, but man, it gives you so much more mental clarity and everything. And I feel like with the Neuralink stuff, that's the end of that. Like there, you can't like how do you do that? You know, I wouldn't want to be someone who becomes an outlier because this should never be acceptable. Um, I think that's about it for the video, but I think the only thing what I want to say is just be a critical thinker. Think about when people tell you things that's right or true or that kind of stuff. I'm not saying be skeptical of everything and be super paranoid and that you can't trust anyone. I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is like when you see things on the internet and when you see people argue about shit and say what's right, look, man, there's so much stuff out there now. Like the it intentionally overwhelms our mind to the point of there's so much information that it just shuts our brain off. It can't compute. And so you have to make decisions for yourself and limit things because that's freedom. Right? Having your own attention span and knowing what is right for you, that's freedom. When you can articulate your thoughts and make better decisions, that's freedom. Okay? So I hope everyone has a good rest of their day, and I will see everyone later. Have a good one. Oh yeah, and subscribe to my channel if you want to see a bunch of other videos. I'm still trying to figure out exactly what kinds of content I want to make, but I do like these types of videos that are like more in depth because I haven't really done this type of stuff that much, and if it has a purpose, hey, it counts. So I'll see you all later. All right, bye.